from John chapter 4, verses 13 and 14. He's talking to the woman at the well. He was thirsty. He sat down. And even though Jews don't talk to Samaritans, back then you just didn't do that. And men didn't talk to women either, in case y'all didn't know. Jesus was awesome. He spoke to women and he spoke to Samaritans. He spoke to everyone. He loved everyone. His message is for everyone. And he said this to her. Well, let me start at 10. If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. Sir, the woman said, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his flocks and his herds? And Jesus answered, everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. Amen. May be seated. I'd like to use for a topic this morning. Are you thirsty for God? Are you thirsty for God? Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor? Oh, neighbor. Are you thirsty for God? Amen. Let us pray. Eternal and most wise God, I thank you for this message, oh God. It's a painful message. Sometimes they don't come easy, but this is a good message. And I ask you right now to hide me behind the cross. Help me, oh God, to decrease so that you may increase. Open our spiritual eyes and help us have a revelation. Help us to see something new. Take us deeper in the Spirit and be changed for having been here today. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen. In the subject of water, we really take water for granted, for one thing. In this country, in America, we just go to the tap and we just turn it on and it's clean and we can drink it. You know, we just wash our clothes and take our showers, and water fountains everywhere. If you get thirsty, you can get water every fast food place you go to. Bottled water right there in the pulpit. But when I was in Mexico on a mission trip, they sent us to the poorest part of Mexico. And I'm telling you, in Mexico, water is like gold. Water is the most precious thing that there is, because there isn't very much water. First of all, there's hardly any water. And second of all, there's almost no water that's clean enough to drink. And so everywhere we went, our minds were always on water. Now here, I don't think about water very much. In America, I don't walk around thinking about water. But when I was in Mexico, down there in the poorest part of Mexico, Oaxaca, my every thought was on the water. All of us were. All of us were thinking about, okay, where are we going to get the water? Who's going to carry it? How am I going to get some? And we all had a water bottle. And I carried my water bottle around me like it was my wallet. Nobody was going to get my water bottle, and I wasn't going to lose it. And for some reason, when I was in Mexico, where water was so scarce, and especially drinking water was so scarce, I always felt thirsty. I drank more water when I was in Oaxaca, Mexico, than I had ever drunk. It seemed like because there wasn't any, I always felt thirsty. I was always thirsty, and I was always trying to fill my water bottle so I would have it, and I felt safe if I had my water with me. As long as I had my water with me, I knew I would be all right down there in Mexico. But it wasn't easy to get it. And when you brush your teeth, you have to spit the water out because you're not allowed to drink it. And if you take a shower, you have to keep your mouth closed because you don't want it to get in your mouth. Because the water down there that you brush your teeth with and you take a shower with and you wash the dishes with, you don't drink that water. The only water that you can drink down there is the kind that's been cleaned and purified so that you might drink it. And so for that reason, water rose to the top of the list of importance in my life. Amen. Are y'all with me?
Amen.
Now here in America, as soon as I got back, as soon as I got off the plane, the first thing that I did is I ran to a water fountain. Oh my God, I ran to a water fountain. And I turned it on, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank, and I drank. I said, God, I thank you for America. I thank you for my country, where the water's clean, where we can drink it everywhere. And my spirit, I felt so broken for the people all over the world who don't have clean water to drink. So that's one thing for you to know. Some people spend all day long getting water to drink, walking 3 hours to a spring and carrying buckets and buckets and buckets back to their village. We don't know what it's like. We have no clue what it's the suffering and what it's like for people all over the world who don't have clean water to drink. But I know then, water became so important to me. And even today, even now, when I'm brushing my teeth, I don't leave the water running. I turn the water on, I get my toothbrush wet, and I turn the water off. I've learned to save water. I don't use any more water in my washing machine than I have to. I take short showers. I just can't waste water anymore. And I hate bottled water, even though I'm drinking it. You know why? Because of the bottle. It's polluting the earth. And down in Mexico, believe it or not, they didn't have a recycling program. And so empty bottles were like trash everywhere. It was, you got to go on a mission trip sometime to appreciate what we have in this country. And I have learned to appreciate water. I love the fact that I can just turn the tap on and there it is, and I'll never forget when it wasn't there. But here in the scripture, what Jesus is talking about is even this water right here, even this clean water right here, this abundant, we don't have to worry about it at all. We'll drink it. A couple hours later, I'm going to drink some more. I'm going to be thirsty. It's not going to satisfy me. I have to keep drinking it. I have to keep drinking it and keep drinking it and keep having access to it. You know, that's the kind of water it is. This is worldly water. That's not the kind of water he's talking about. He's talking about spiritual, living water in your spirit. And he told the woman at the well, you know what? If you knew who I was, I mean, I'm asking you for some drinking water. But if you knew who I was, you'd be asking me for some living water. And the water I will give you, you'll never be thirsty again. The water I'm asking you for, I'll have to drink again. But the water I'll give you, you'll never be thirsty again. And why is that? Why will you never be thirsty again? Because he'll give you your own well, that's why. He says in the Word, I'll put a well down in you that will spring up into eternal life. And that's why you hear sometimes the songs about the well he put down in me. The well he put down in me is deep. Because she said, how are you going to get that water? This well's deep. You got nothing to draw with. The well that he will put down in you, Tucker, is deep. It's not shallow. You don't get it from doing some kind of shallow prayer. You don't get it from doing some kind of shallow walk with God, some kind of superficial commitment where I come to church because I have to, and I read my Bible every now and then when I feel like it. The well that he puts down in you is deep, and it comes from a deep, deep commitment to God. But when it comes, when you have made a deep, deep, authentic, genuine, whole commitment to God, he will put a well down in you of living water that you can access when you're spiritually thirsty. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I was spiritually thirsty this weekend because I got my heart broken. I got my heart broken by somebody that I love, that I saw fall. And I love this person. I love this person like I love my daughter. I love this person. And my heart was absolutely broken. And if any of you guys were over the horseshoe yesterday and saw what I looked like, man, I wasn't looking too good. But you know what I knew? Because my heart was absolutely broken. I cried. I cried so loud that Lisa, the bookkeeper in the back, came to see about me. I had my door closed, but I was crying and I was sobbing and I was crying and I was weeping and I was crying and I was crying. And she came and said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I just have to cry right now." But see, when I cry from my spirit, I'm thirsty for God. The tears are coming out, but I know that there's a well down in me that will bring up that living water and will help me when I'm thirsty. And so, but she says, "Well, how are you going to get it? It's way down in there. You don't have anything to draw with. How are you going to get that water out?" And I want to ask the same question to you and to me. That well is a deep well. How's the living water going to come up to satisfy your spiritual thirst when you need God? And I needed God right then. I don't know about you, but sometimes, my brothers and sisters, I need God. I need Him. And when I need Him, that's when I'm thirsty. That's what it's called, thirsty for God. When I need God, God help me. My heart is broken. I'm just in pieces. Please help me. That means you're thirsty. So you got to listen to what God tells you to do when you're thirsty. Because God, even though she said, "How are you going to get it out of there? It's all down, it's deep. You don't have anything to draw with." You know what God told me to do? Y'all say what?
What?
God told me to go to my office and clean it out. I don't know why God told me to do that. Because I don't know. I clean my house. My house needs to be cleaned. My dogs need to be washed. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. But for some reason, I was crying out to God. I was thirsty for God, and I needed to drink that living water. I needed that well to spring up in me, to help me, to satisfy me. And so God said, go clean your office. And I thought, "Oh God, that's worse than cleaning my house. That's worse than, that place is," I haven't cleaned that office probably in about 5 years. Just stuff gets just thrown in there. There's dead bugs in the windows. I'm serious, y'all know. There's dust on everything. My office is just dirty because I'm just busy. You know, I never had time to clean it up. So he said, "Go in there and clean your office up." And so I just said, "Yes, sir." I don't know. I knew I had to do it, you know, because that was the cup that went down in the well that brought it back up to me. And you know how it was? Because when I started to clean my office, and man, I swear I probably hadn't cleaned it in 5 years. I started to take it apart bit by bit. And as I took it apart bit by bit, box by box, sorting through all this stuff, God showed me everything He'd done in this ministry for 17 years. I found pictures I had totally forgotten about. I found stories I had totally forgotten about. I saw miracles I had totally forgotten about. And it was like a journey on the Exodus mile. Why don't you take a walk with Exodus? Get that cup way down in there and bring up that living water but we're being reminded of all I've done with you, with us in this ministry. And I went on a journey yesterday, my brothers and sisters. I saw pictures that were so old. I found a picture that I had been looking for a long time of Reb when he was a really young man. And he didn't wear glasses and he had black hair. And it was the original From Prison to Pulpit brochure, back before he was chaplain of the prison, back when he was just a volunteer at the prison. It was the original Prison to Pulpit volunteer. And I saw the starting of the church, and I saw the starting of Exodus Homes, and I saw the movement of the church, and it took me hours. I was in there forever. And I threw away. How much stuff did I throw away yesterday? Miss Michael knows, I was just throwing it out the door. I said, bring me one of those grocery carts, one of those moving vans, and put it outside my office. And I was throwing trash, everything I didn't need in my life anymore. That's where the cup was going down in the well and saying, drink of this water. There's a whole lot of stuff in here, honey, you don't need. It's just junk getting in your way. So I was just throwing stuff out the door, throwing stuff out the door, throwing stuff in boxes for Tiffany to shred. I threw away so much stuff yesterday, it shocked me. But I didn't care because I realized that is just not important. Throw it away. That's not important either. Throw it away. I don't need that. Throw it away. Get rid of it. I saved the gold. I saved the stories. I saved the pictures. We've been in the newspaper so much over the past 17 years. You ain't got time to read it all. Lord Jesus. And so by the time I had gone through that whole office and I looked like, I don't even know. I looked myself in the mirror. I was like, oh. They said, you better go home, Miss Susan. You don't look so good. You look too tired. Because I was really tired by the end. My hair was standing straight up on top of my head. I was pale, white as a sheet. I was just tired. But because God had sent me after the living water, because I needed God. God, I need you. I need you right now to speak to my broken heart. I need you right now to help me not fall to pieces. And what he did is, I'll take you on a journey of all the miracles and all the things I've done in the past 17 years. And I will help you to look at it from start to finish. And by the time I was done looking at everything, amazing. From start to finish, and threw away everything else that didn't matter. Just a bunch of junk sitting up in there. I even opened the blinds and cleaned out the bugs, y'all. Y'all be proud of me. The dead bees, all the dead wasps and stuff have been sitting in my window for about 5 years. I don't know. I always look at it and think, one day I'm going to clean these bugs out of that window. Well, yesterday I cleaned the bugs out of the window. That was how God did it for me. God won't do it for you like he did it for me. God does it different for everybody. But when you're thirsty for God, he said, when you drink of the water that I give, you won't be thirsty again. And so I was thirsty for God. And God did for me exactly what I needed. I needed to be reminded that he is Jehovah Jireh. That he is the Lord our provider. Something might get taken away, but that means something else is going to be given, right? Something might be lost, but something else is going to be gained. That God is still in the miracle working business. Honey, you've seen some dark days before. I saw myself on the front page of the Hickory Daily Record. Exodus Homes is going down. I remember that. That was in 2010. Exodus Homes in trouble. Exodus Homes might not make it. Oh, I saw stories about the things that we've done. I saw stories in the beginning where they said, we don't want them in our town. What can we do to stop them? And then I saw stories of council says yes, they can do it. And I was reminded of who God was, and I was reminded that that well down in me would feed me when I needed it. And so by the end of the day, even though I looked a mess, I sure would not have wanted anybody except the people who really love me, like y'all. I'm not ashamed to look like that in front of y'all. I sure wouldn't want anybody else to see me looking like that. But by the end of that day, I had drunk the cup of the living water. And I was fine. I was fine. I was good. And I said, God, that's how you are. Your word is true. That when I put a well down in you, it'll spring up to eternal life. And when you're thirsty for me, if you cry out to me, which I did, I cried out to God. I said, God, please help me. Help me. You might think pastors don't ever cry out to God. We cry out to God. We especially cry out to God. I say, God, please, please help me. I'm hurting. I'm hurting for me. I'm hurting for other people. Please help me. And that was the thirst. And that gave God the opportunity to say, go down in the well and get the water, honey, that can help you. and you won't be thirsty again. You know, because I'm going to help you. And that's what he did for me yesterday. And so I'm so grateful for today, because I don't feel today like I did yesterday. Yesterday I felt so depressed I didn't want to get out of bed. I was so down. I felt lots of things. But after God reminded me of who he was and all he'd done, I drank and I drank and I drank and I drank of the spiritual water. And after that was over, I was happy. I felt good. I felt joy in my spirit. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away either. So, Mother,